Good morning, happy Thursday. We are working on Module 6, Lesson 11 today. Make sure that you are on Zern and completing that lesson. Then you are watching this video at the same time as doing the packet. In this video, I tell you to pause. At that point, you're pausing and working on the packet. When you come into office hours, I will know you have watched this video because you are going to come in and say the word apple. You're going to say the word apple, and that's how I know you've watched this video. Watch it all the way through, and I will see you in office hours. Good luck, and I will see you soon. All right, we are looking at Module 6, Lesson 11. So we are analyzing number patterns created from the mixed operations. So we're adding in a step to what we did yesterday. So let's look at line L. The rule that line L tells us is triple X. So when you're looking at triple X, triple means we are going to multiply. We are multiplying by 3. Triple. Okay, so we see that X is 0. So if we're saying times 3, we know that X there is going to be, 0. 0 times 3 is 0. So our coordinate pair is 0, 0. It's really hard for me to write right there, so I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to write my line L right over here. That is a cursive L. Okay, so we have 0, 0. Then it tells us that our X is 1. If we know that it's triple X, we're going to say 1 times 3, and so we're going to have 1 and 3 as our coordinate point. It tells us X is 2, 2 times 3, 2, 6, and it tells us X is 4. Make sure you're paying attention there. It does not go in order. It does not count by ones. We are going to say 4 times 3 is going to give us 12. Here's your coordinate pair. Now that you have your coordinate pairs, you are going to graph it. Before you graph it, take a second and predict what you think the line is going to look like. Think about the fact that it's a multiplication rule. So you should be thinking, well, if it's a multiplication rule, it's going to pass the origin. If you forget what that origin is, that's 0, 0. It's 0 on the x-axis, 0 on the y-axis, okay? And we know that the y-coordinates are 3 times the x-coordinates, so it's going to be a really steep line. Let's go ahead and plot those now. Pause the video, plot, and then see if yours looks like mine. Okay, you should have plotted L and label it L. That's as straight of a line as I can get with this iPad pen here. But get as straight of a line as you can, crossing through all of your points. Now let's look at line M. Line M, the rule is triple X and then add 3. So this time we have 2 operations that we're completing. So I'm going to do this one over here to try and keep it organized. Okay, so we have line M. So I know that if my X is 0, I need to triple X and then add 3. So I'm going to say times 3 and then add 3. So 0 times 3 is 0. Then I'm going to add 3, so I have 3. Okay, now we're looking at 1. 1 is our X. It says triple X and then add 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. Then we add 3, we get 6. Go ahead, pause the video again, and finish writing out these last 2 coordinate points with that rule. Once you have those coordinate points written, you are going to, again, graph them in your coordinate plane. Go ahead and chart them. As you're doing it, think about how is this line going to look different? Well, the rule looks different. The rule now shows that we are multiplying and adding. We have 2 operations, so it's going to look a little bit different. Plot them now, and then pause the video, and then plot them. Okay, you should have line L and line M now plotted. What do you notice about them? When you come into office hours, this is something I'm going to ask you. You should be realizing that if they were straighter lines than what I drew, they are parallel lines. And line M does not go through the origin. It's a multiplication rule that doesn't go through the origin. They're both equally as steep, but M is further away from the x-axis. That is the only difference. They're identical except that M doesn't pass through the origin. It passes through the y-axis at 0, 3. So they're equally steep. It is just the origin that's the difference. Now you're going to pause. You are going to write out all of the coordinates for line N, and you are going to chart it. Once you do that, come back to the video. All right, now that you've plotted it, you notice that this is also a parallel line, but it is below line M and line L. And the reason for this is because one of the rules after we multiplied was to subtract. So that number was lower because we subtracted it. Now you should have all of these plotted and all of those coordinate points written. Go ahead and move on to the next page. You are doing the same thing that we just did. So based on this rule of double X for line L and the rule here, double X and then add 1, you are going to write in the coordinate pairs, plot them in the coordinate plane, and then answer these couple of questions. So comparing and contrasting them. Do you notice anything with them being parallel to each other? Do you notice anything having to do with which one crosses through the origin? Then you are going to move into number 2 and the exit ticket. Complete all of this and complete Zern. If you get stuck on this, jump to Zern to see if that helps you with it, and I will see you in office hours.